Hello, my name is Ari Krupnik. I am Director of Engineering at Derapi.com, a software as a service company where we make cloud APIs for distributed energy resources. This video is about how to run a daily stand-up and what for. Now, there are many different ways to run a stand-up. I've been in stand-ups where 30 people filed into a conference room and spent 30 minutes in essentially a progress report meeting, 30 minutes every morning of the week. I've been in stand-ups where 200 people, and the crowd was so large that they had to pass around a wireless microphone so that everybody could hear what people were saying. Now, I'm going to talk about my stand-up, how my practice, what I do with stand-ups. Stand-ups for me work between 3 and 10, maybe 12 people. If you have fewer than 3 people, you don't need a stand-up. If you have more than 12, it gets too long. People start talking between them while they're waiting for somebody else to talk. The crew gets too large. You have to split it up. So the format that I use is 5 minutes in the morning, 30 seconds per person. Everybody says 3 things. What did I accomplish yesterday? What am I working on today? And what am I blocking on? We do this 5 minutes in the morning. I'm very strict on the boundaries of that. So what it lets me do is find out problems early. I don't need to wait 2 weeks for a sprint planning session or retrospective to find out that things are going faster or slower than we expected. If I find problems early, I can correct them early. It lets information flow the other way as well. If there's a change in priorities, we're in agile shop, we can change priorities quickly. If there is a change in priorities, I can communicate that to the crew right away. I don't need to wait 2 weeks for a sprint planning session for my engineers to find out what the priorities are and how they're shifting. But the most important thing it does, and I think this is lost on a lot of people who do stand-ups, the most important thing that it does is it lets engineers brag about their accomplishments. Engineers don't get nearly enough recognition for what they do. Nobody really understands what engineers do. And so this 5 minute stand-up in the morning is an opportunity for each engineer to stand up and say, this is my accomplishment for the day. Now, maybe it's a big accomplishment, maybe it's not such a big accomplishment. But every day, you get, as an engineer, every day, you get accomplishment for your achievements. Accomplishments have to be actual accomplishments. I had a meeting with so-and-so is not an accomplishment. Now, nobody wants to stand up and say, I accomplished nothing yesterday. Now, so there are some days, sometimes you kind of get a day off, things don't go well, that happens. And that is okay. But nobody wants to stand up and say, I just sat on my hands all day and accomplished nothing. And so this does one of 2 things. People who want to be productive get more productive because they get acknowledgement for what they do. And people who don't want to be productive tend to leave. And these are people who you're going to have to put on a performance improvement plan anyway. So it kind of people tend to self-organize around that. There is sometimes a question that comes up about who needs to be in a stand-up and who doesn't. And the way I think about this is everybody's welcome. I've had CEOs that wanted to be in engineering stand-ups. And I think it's a wonderful thing for CEOs for upper management to be involved in the daily engineering work. That's a wonderful thing if you have a boss who wants to know what's going on and wants to be a part of the process and wants to let information flow up and down. How I decide this is very simple. Everybody is welcome, but I do not allow tourists in my stand-up. If you just want to kind of stand in the corner and be a fly on the wall, that's not going to work. Everybody who's in the stand-up has to say these 3 things. What did I accomplish yesterday? What am I working on today? What am I blocking on? People, again, tend to sort of self-organize. And the reason I make everybody say these 3 things is that it builds rapport. It completely kills people's confidence in what you're doing if there are 2 classes of people who say what they've done and people who don't say what they've done. It creates a 2-tier system in which information only flows one way, and when information only flows one way, it doesn't flow at all. It becomes a kind of a status report meeting where people just say the things that they think the management wants to hear, and they try to hide all the things that they think will get them in trouble. So in the old days, when we had physical offices, the stand-ups could be very informal. Whatever the time was, 9:30, or whenever everybody arrived in the morning, everybody was there. Somebody would literally stand up and say, "Stand up," and we would have the 5-minute stand-up. Now, how do you do this on video? Now we're distributed. We have at Derapi, we have people all the way from Seattle to Buenos Aires, Argentina. So how do you get people to join on time for a 5-minute meeting? Like if you're 3 minutes late, you've missed most of the meeting. So the way I do this is very simple. Is whoever joins last goes first, and I found that nobody wants to be on the spot as the guy who joined last. Thank you for joining me today for this video. Again, my name is Ari Krupnik. I'm Director of Engineering at Derapi.com. We always love to talk to good engineers. There's always room on our crew for engineers who want to build things.